Alright, the Island Adventure update is here, and with this update introduce a new cosmetic, the Pirate Hat. And with the Pirate Hat here, we've got a new update for the critical build with the stats it gives. It gives 5 crit chance and 20 crit damage. With these stats, we can have a new update to the critical damage build. Before we get into the video, I want to give a random shout out to Victor Silva for subscribing. Thank you so much, Victor Silva. If you're watching this video, thanks for tuning in. And if you would like a random shout out as well, don't forget to subscribe as I shout out each random subscriber in each video. Now, before I continue on to the build, I'm going to show you how you get the Pirate Hat. So first, you got to go to crafts. You need 1 million coins and you need all these items right here to obtain the Pirate Hat. I was able to get the Pirate Hat very quickly by talking to the Convert NPC, in which I have a lot of useless material I converted into material like the seashell right here. I would find the material you have the most of. For example, for me, it's the old coin. Now I would convert this material into the resources that you need. So now that I've got the Pirate Hat, let me get to the depth of the build. So our main source of damage will be our Reaper Scythe, as it is the strongest weapon in the game. And I've got critical damage on it right here. In case we don't know what critical damage does, it increases your critical damage by 35% and your skill damage by 10% when talking about its damage stats. Now back to the build here, I've got Halloween Sword with Prodigy right here to back me up while Reaper Scythe is on cooldown. I've got the Spooky Cat Pet with 10 crit chance right here. The Spooky Ghost with 25% crit damage. The Pumpkin Head with 10 crit chance and 25% crit damage. The Pirate Hat with 5% crit chance and 20% crit damage. The passives with 5 crit chance and 10 critical damage. And I've got the critical perk, which increases my critical chance by 15% for 60 seconds. And I can get this perk by dealing damage, so this perk will always be on once I've activated it. And our final stats is 80% critical damage and 30% critical chance. But you can add plus 15% due to the critical perk, and you can add plus 35% because we have the critical damage trait right here. We're going to be able to hit crits very often, and they're going to hit very hard using this build. And for upgrades for the weapons I'm bringing, my Reaper Scythe has max cooldown, all 7 stats, and my Halloween Sword has 4 cooldown and 3 damage. I really wish I put more cooldown though, I just don't want to reset it and spend all my money again. Now with the build out of the way, let's showcase this build fighting the Sir Jackie raid boss. Alright, I just loaded in. Currently at the time of recording, Reaper Scythe X move is bugged, as for some reason you can spam it, it has such low cooldown. For the sake of this video, I will not be spamming the second move. I'll only use it in conjunction with my third move's cooldown, since the cooldowns are very similar. So that's the only way I'm going to be able to show a fair rating of this build right here. So let's get into the fight. And of course, I've got a 100 mastery on my Reaper Scythe, and I've got 100 mastery on my Halloween Sword right here. I'll do a short damage showcase, and then I'll speed up the video. So for a base trisect, the 1600 damage, that's with the critical though. For Nether Sigil, let's let him take all that DOT. With some crits hitting in right there, we're about to hit almost 2k damage right there. And for Umbriel Reap, more DOT right here, doing about 1100 damage. He did teleport though. And for Wailing Host, let's see how much damage this does. Does about 700 damage. This V move is still really weak for some reason. Now Halloween Sword's turn. For Sword Wave, it's doing 300, that's without a crit. For Pumpkin Burst, we got 1000 with the crit, very good. For Howling Gale, doing about 1000 damage. He did teleport away at the end. And then for Pumpkin Smash, with the crit, doing nearly 3k. Now that I've got my critical perk ready, I'm going to be able to spam crits more often now. So let's speed up the fight and let's shred this guy. Boom, and we finally beat him. One thing I forgot to mention, for some reason this build's got lots of health. I've got 450 health. And that took us about 7 minutes right there. Alright, so my final thoughts for the newly updated critical build. It's super fun and I personally enjoy seeing the big critical numbers go up, but 100% not the most optimal build I would use. While I do think that critical damage is slowly turning into a meta stat, I don't think you should put all your gear and all your stats into critical damage. This critical build is being really close to being the most optimal build, and then I'll show you the difference between this build and the optimal build right now. Alright, so this is a true most optimal build right here. The big differences being the pet. The Spooky Ghost pet is really good for critical damage, but the Reaper pet just gives everything else and more, giving you damage, giving you crit chance, giving you reduced cooldown. And that last buff right here is just a nice little bonus. And for the Devil Horns, instead of getting plus 20% crit damage from the Pirate Hat, just getting a plus 20% flat skill damage is better and consistent, and this is still giving me the plus 5 crit chance, and it's also got minus 5% cooldown as well. So the Devil Horns are just better than the Pirate Hat. And for passives, you want to run passives that give you a synergy, and this is the best synergy in the game, as it gives you a flat buff of 1.15 times damage using these two together. And if you're fighting alone, there's no stronger perk than using the double damage perk. If you had a teammate who brought double damage perk, of course bringing a perk like critical or undead is a lot stronger. But in this case of a solo run, double damage perk is definitely a lot stronger, as you're just going to get a lot more damage out of that. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think of this new update. Let me know something you want to cover during this update that you haven't seen on any other channel. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.